Hello, everyone. So, I am sick. Did you know that? Oh, don't sound good either. Um, so here's the deal. I've been sick since probably Sunday. I came to school on Monday thinking it wasn't so bad, and then sanitized the crap out of everything I touched, and then Monday night it got worse, and then Tuesday morning the school district asked me to COVID test as well as Penny because Penny was sick the weekend before. So we both went and COVID tested yesterday morning. Hopefully we get those results by Thursday. As far as how I'm doing, like fever, congestion, cough, my voice sounds pretty messed up. I'm doing a lot of sleeping, but not so great. Do I think I have COVID? No. But then again, probably everybody who has COVID doesn't think that they have COVID at first. So anyway, I'll know more by Thursday, probably evening. But I think that I'll feel well enough to come back and do online teaching tomorrow, but not today. And then hopefully, if I get a negative test, I'll be back in the classroom on Friday. So one more day of rest will be good for me. Okay, so we're going to talk about sampling techniques today. It's going to be a pretty brief video because I'm sure it is painful to listen to my voice sound like this. There are 4 sampling techniques that you could use. One is called Stratified, another is called Cluster, and then Systematic and Convenience. Oh, actually 5, and Simple Random too. So let's start with Stratified. Stratified is when you divide your population into groups of characteristics. For example, you can separate your group into women and men, or by age. And then you select an equal number from each group. So, I don't know, let's say you're doing a study about, I don't know, how a certain drug is affecting a person's heart rate. And you don't just want to have men in that study because women are different than men. You don't just want to have old people in that study or young people in that study because they are different. So those are examples of times when you would want there to be a variety and a forced variety. So that's what stratified is. A cluster sample Okay, so for a cluster sample, you split the population into groups based on location. So, um, and then what you do is you pick, you can do one of two things. You can either pick all of one location, or you can take some from each location. A good example of this is like, let's say that you wanted to figure out what the GPA was of all juniors. Well, we know that the juniors are in just a few locations. And one of those locations is my room, because they're in for my homeroom. Wilmus's homeroom. And Thorson's homeroom. And Noel's homeroom. So maybe if you wanted to figure out what the GPA was of all the juniors, maybe you would only go into my room and you would just figure out the GPA of everybody in my room. Or maybe you would go to my room, Wilmus's room, Thorson's room, Noel's, and just select 2 people from all of those groups. That's not stratified because, you see, being in a room is not a characteristic. Another example of this is often with zip codes and polling. They'll take a certain amount from each region, which makes sense, especially when you have certain areas that are very rich and certain areas that are very poor. Then you want to do it by location so that you know that you're including everyone. Sorry. Systematic is very easy to understand. Okay. So you select individuals at regular intervals. So let's say an example of this would be like a DUI check. So maybe they're checking to see if anybody is driving under the influence, and then they decide they're going to stop every 20th car that they see. Or maybe you ask a question and you're only going to ask every 5th person you see in the hallway. That's systematic. A simple random sample is exactly what I do in class to give away prizes. You give everyone a number. And randomly select your sample. So for example, if you give away the numbers 1 through 100, you could get back, I don't know, number 85, number 72, number 70, and number 16. And those are the people that you're going to ask in your sample. It's possible when you're doing a random number that you might get the same number twice, and we will be doing an activity like this later on. Finally, it's convenience sampling. Okay, a convenience sample is a bad choice to make. You should never actually do this if you are a good scientist. It's basically just selecting who is available or who you like. An example would be like using your friends for a study. And the problem with that is simply that if you only use your friends for a study, then you're really only getting opinions that are probably pretty similar to yours. And that is not what you want. All right, so your homework, which is pretty brief, is page. Let's go with page 25, numbers 23 through 30. All right, I'm hoping that I am going to see you guys online tomorrow, and I'm going to do a lot of sleeping today because I need to get better.